A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
So ever since I've been going on, let's call them dedicated photography trips, you know when you go away deliberately with your camera and it's for photography, I've always had this kind of subconscious thought about the place that I've been to and what it is that I'm photographing. And I think it's only on this trip that I've actually brought it to the forefront of my mind. And I don't know, I just wanted to bring it up in today's video and chat about it a little bit and hear some of your thoughts, because I think it might be quite interesting. Now let's take where I am as an example. I'm on Uist, these beautiful islands that are really well known for their beaches that are just absolutely out of this world. If you watched my video last week, I hope you'll agree with that sentiment, because they are really special. But after driving around on these islands for 2 or 3 days now, I've come to realise there's a lot more to them. There's a fair few mountains, there's a hell of a lot of moorland, there's a lot of causeways, and ultimately I think what I'm trying to say is there's more to them than just the beaches. And I think what I'm trying to say is that like a little bit of a shame? I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. Please comment down below. Do you think it's a bit of a shame that we go to places, we photograph what that place is known for, we photograph that place's gold standard, if you will, and we're happy and then we just leave? Because there is that side to it as well. Maybe this is just an absolute non-event, because I always leave these places buzzing. I feel like I've got enough out of the location and I feel like my photography's been fine. But yeah, there's always just this like underlying kind of, oh, what's over there and what's over there and what have I missed, and am I giving enough respect to this location by just flying in, capturing the things that pretty much everyone else does and then leaving? So let me just show you something before we go through this photograph. Look at the state of the front of my lens. Can you see that? Look at all the scratches and scuffs. Clearly don't look after my gear very well. So you're finding me in this lovely peaceful area of South Uist, over on the eastern side of the island, which is a little bit more mountainous, as you can see. And I think, yeah, I just fancy something different, and I wanted to have a go at photographing something a little bit different on these islands and showcase something a little bit different on these islands to use as well. Show you that it's not just all about the beaches. But we're in this lovely location at the minute, and I just came round the corner and stumbled upon this lovely green rowing boat with the mountainous backdrop, and I just had to grab an image. I don't think I've ever got like a nice little rowing boat photograph or anything like that. I don't think I've got one in my portfolio, so this is nice. I barely need to talk through it at all. He's just sitting so wonderfully underneath the mountain. I do need my tripod. Still about 3 hours till the sunset, but it's quite dark. It's giving me a shutter speed of about 1/10 of a second. I did consider using my ND filters to smooth out the water, because there's a few ripples from a slight breeze, but I think I might leave it as is. It's not something that I do very much, and I'm just interested to see how it looks with a lot of texture in the water, you know. But in fairness, the clouds are really nice, the peaks are beautiful off in the background, and of course the boat is a lovely foreground subject. So with this thing, you know, should we come to places and just take the photographs that place is renowned for, whatever you want to call it, I do also wonder if I'm just being overly philosophical about it, because I'm the type of landscape photographer that goes through a cycle of what I enjoy photographing. So after I've been on the beach for too long, I'm mad to get into the mountains. Once I've done that for too long, I want to get into the woodlands or something different. And perhaps it's just that. I've done a lot of coastal photography recently and I love it. It's my favourite type of landscape photography for the most part. But maybe I'm just a bit, not sick of it, but fancying something different, wanting to mix it up a little bit, wanting a bit of variety. I don't know. Again, I'll ask you the question, what do you think about that? I don't know. Now, I'm on the hunt for something very specific to use as foreground in front of these mountains. So I found some of the foreground that I was after. It's only heather, it's nothing too exciting, but I wanted to find some to put down at the bottom of an image just to give it a little bit of a punch, a bit of vibrancy, because we haven't had that much light until I got set up, and I was getting quite excited because the sun came out. You see the bright patch up there? The sun came out from up there and I was thinking, oh, brilliant. But it was really harsh because we've still got a while till the sunset. So it was a proper anticlimax. And I mean, I don't know if a photographer has ever come out with such nonsense, but I actually sat and waited for the light to go away, to disappear. But it was just looking better on the back of my camera on the LCD screen without any light. So I'm sticking with it. Compositionally, I've stuck the heather on the right-hand side of the frame, and then we've got the mountains up on the top left-hand side of the frame, so it feels like there's quite a nice balance. I've got the wide-angle lens on. I'm at about 16, 17 millimeters, and I've just stuck the lens really close to the heather down in the foreground, just trying to fill the bottom of the frame with all of that lovely vibrancy. I've done a focus stack as well, one focused on the heather and then one focused off in the background somewhere. And then the only other thing that I've done, settings-wise at least, is bumped my ISO up to actually ISO 1000 because I needed a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second because the heather was boogieing around and I didn't want it to be blurred down in the foreground.
On my way back to the van, nature's brilliance burst forth in magnificent patches of light across the mountains. The contrast was simply glorious. I framed the vibrant maca at the forefront of the scene, being sure to duck down to minimise my own shadow in the foreground. And this is how it came out.
And just like that, you are finding us back down at the beach, even though this video was about whether or not we should go to places and photograph the common locations. Listen, I've had a little bit of a nightmare. I think it might be a bit of a problem, but before we get into it, before we get into any more photography this evening, I wanted to say another big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. So for those of you that haven't heard of Squarespace, I'm here to tell you all about them. They're an all-in-one platform that you can use to build your own website. And don't be intimidated by that term, build your own website, because through Squarespace, it is so easy. My own website is through them. It was through them since before I was sponsored by them, and I'm really, really proud of it. The biggest selling point of Squarespace's websites for me is that it's so easy. It's a drag and drop system. They've got loads of templates. You add a little bit of text and a few images, and before you know it, you'll have your website up and running. Once you've made your website, you'll discover that it looks brilliant on computers, tablets, and phones, just naturally, without you having to do anything, which, let's face it, in this day and age is really, really important. And if you'd like your website to be more than just a portfolio for your images, you can actually sell stuff through your Squarespace website as well. They've got plenty of fantastic e-commerce options, which is what I use to sell my prints, my ebooks, my one-to-one workshops, my calendars, all sorts. And again, they make it so easy to do that. So if you'd like to give Squarespace a go, head over to squarespace.com/Henry Turner or hit the link in the video description below to get yourself a 14-day free trial. Nothing to lose. It's a no-brainer. And if you like your free trial, make sure you use the offer code Henry Turner at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. So as you can see, we're no longer at the beach. You know what? Plain and simple, didn't really like it, didn't get a good vibe from it, couldn't figure out any compositions, and I think there were quite a lot of nesting birds and they were going mental. So I felt like a bit of an idiot being there, but yeah, just, you know, when it's more like a feel. I just didn't get a good feel from the place. Oh, the nightmare that I had. So in last week's video, which was yesterday evening for me, we had a brilliant photo shoot on the beach, had a fantastic time. It was a quality sunset, but it was one of those where it was a little bit chaotic, a little bit headless chickeny. And at one stage, I flipped the back of my bag up and one of my batteries from a video camera fell into a rock pool, dead. In fact, I think I've got it here. Just got it in my pocket. Dead meat, straight into salt water. Now, earlier, my battery ran out on my Z7 and I went to get the replacement battery. Gone. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I had a good look around in the van for it and honestly it was nowhere to be seen. So I can only assume that one of the batteries from the Z7 friggin' fell out somewhere as well yesterday evening, which is a bit of a downer. So when I get home, first thing I'm gonna have to do is buy one new battery for the Z7, one new battery for the Z30. But when I said before it was a nightmare, that's because I was quickly trying to charge this battery in the van. But whilst I was looking around on the beach down there, I managed to charge it for about 20 minutes or so. So it'll be all right for what we're doing now. So after we come away from that beach, we still had about 45 or 50 minutes till the sunset. So I figured, I wonder if there's anywhere nearby that I can quickly go to and grab a few shots before the end of the day. And I had a quick check of my trusty Photographing Scotland book, and sure enough, this loch was about 5 minutes drive away, which is quality. And it seems to have a few of these like abandoned buildings. And I thought, you know what? This would be really cool because this is the sort of thing I'd never usually photograph. It's another part of the character of Uist, South Uist especially, and why not go and do it? I've come away from the beach, which is what I've been doing the whole time on these islands. Let's try something completely different. So we're starting with this one here, and I'm just taking pretty much a straight shot for the first image of him. We've got a little bit of colour in the sky from the sunset. We're probably just nearing sunset now, but you know when you're not facing where the sun's going down? So that's going to add a tiny little bit. But such a simple little photograph, and like I said, absolutely not the sort of image I'd usually be taking. I'm just quickly grabbing another image a bit further back. I've just noticed there's like this line of heather, really vibrant actually, and I don't know, it's just making for quite a nice foreground. I'm at 24mm, so I'm not proper wide, but it's kind of wide enough that it looks like it's been shot on a wide angle lens, if that makes sense. But heather on the bottom left, broken old croft house, whatever it is, on the top right. I don't know if they were probably a bit rubbish, them photographs, but sometimes it's like you're not as bothered how the photographs come out. It's like the feeling of taking them, like that was quality, because like I just said, it's just something different for me. And I think it's important to do those sorts of things every now and again. I just wanted to say as well, like my book, I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but PhotoView, their books are quality, and just photography books in general for things like that. For when I'm out and about in places that I don't know, I find them really priceless at times. So I'd highly recommend books, any books, but the PhotoView ones are quality. For, you know, inspiration for your photography locations, I've used them loads, and especially on this trip. Right, me and the Blue Jay or off to find somewhere to sleep. Thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like this has been a bit of a weird video, but sometimes our photo shoots are weird, aren't they? Thank you so much for your support. Please hit the thumbs up button if you've got a quick second, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.